For the purposes of this review, I'm going to be referring to this game as tabs. It's going to be quite painful for you to have to hear me trawl through the entirety of Totally Accurate Battle Simulator without me stuttering constantly. I downloaded the Tabs alpha 2 years ago, and I know that it's been around a long time before that. In that time, plenty of content creators have crunched through both the alpha and the beta, and the game went from being an exciting new silly game to a bit of a mystery, going through an extremely long drought of no new information and constant pushbacks. Now, it's 2019, and a paid version of Tabs is finally out on the Steam store. I say paid version because the game is still in development, now in a state of early access. So what can I say about this early game? Itself an update to an even earlier build that probably shouldn't have been shown so early. To quickly summarise the premise of the game, it's a very silly ragdoll physics game that involves placing units down on a battlefield under a budget against an opposing enemy army. You can select units of varying strength and usefulness from a catalogue of different time periods. Caveman vs Greek hoplite? You've got it. Medieval archer vs ninja? Go for it. Once you've assembled the armies, you watch them play out in often hilarious, often glitchy fashion and wait for a winner to emerge. The crazy physics and interesting range of units keep the game novel for a short while, but you'll stay for the real strategy that exists in the game's campaign mode. Whilst there is a sizable element of luck involved in a fight, there is also a large amount of skill when selecting and placing units. I also found the exhibition of the fights playing out was so enjoyable that losing never felt bad. You can always replay a fight if you felt the RNG was against you. So what's new in this early access version? There's a lot of good stuff going on actually. Immediately obvious are the new graphics, both in the UI presentation and the lighting engine in models. The UI is slicker, cleaner, and sticks to a more coherent design. The fighter models are crisper, leaning heavily on the polygonal style the game is going for. Shadows look lovely and the entirely new maps glisten. These new maps are far more complex than what was available before. In the alpha, maps were aesthetically different but ended up just being open areas. In this new version, maps have some verticality and borders like gates and walls, making the game just that little bit more strategic. Speaking of strategy, there are 3 separate campaign modes for 3 different difficulties, offering easy, normal and hard modes. These offer a sizable chunk of gameplay that will last hours depending on how quickly you manage to work out the solution, of which there are countless. The modes are a set of levels, all with a theme and special conditions like enemies that are already behind your lines. The budget you get given is often tight, and really makes you think of creative new formations to challenge your adversary. These levels are usually very fun, sometimes ingeniously head-scratching, but far too often very basic. I found the easy and normal campaigns could be solved by just chucking out a mammoth into the fray, and he would do most of the work. There are also levels that involve one-on-one matchups, with only enough money for one unit. These levels are clearly intended to teach you about some sort of rock, paper, scissors matching a lot of the units, but it didn't do a great job of it. You can figure out what's good against what by playing the normal levels just fine. At this point in time, there are the Stone Age, Farmer, Medieval, Ancient and Viking factions available. This is less than what was available in the alpha, with the Asian, Modern, Neon and Miscellaneous factions taken out. While it is disappointing that they are not present, the current factions are loaded with plenty of new units that make the game feel fresh again. The devs have also stated that Asia, Renaissance, Pirate and 2 more mystery factions will be added to the game, along with maps to fit the new eras. Interestingly, this game is set to introduce unit creation, faction creation, a campaign editor and even the ability to play as a unit. You can't help but get fired up thinking of the potential of these modes, particularly when the community fully grasps them. With custom campaigns and units, this game could potentially have an infinitely long lifespan. It's these new modes where the destiny of the game lies, and it is clear that this early access version is but a taste of what's to come. At the moment, a large part of the enjoyment of this game is messing around with different combinations of units, but eventually that is bound to get stale. As long as the devs keep updates coming, this game will only get better and better. So where do I stand? It's absolutely worth the asking price. Quality oozes out of it, whilst also managing to look absurd and intentionally glitchy. I would highly recommend picking up this game and you will get your money's worth, but also bear in mind that the main course of this game is yet to come, and this is but a tasty appetizer, which of course is the whole purpose of early access after all.
Time to meet the past, it is the only way to last. I'm talking about time, it moves on so quickly now, I can't believe it. Back to the early days of life, it was so simple and so nice to stand here and watch myself as